All right, you guys. Well, thank you for making it to week 4. And sorry, right now, I was actually on my computer trying to pull up the slides because I actually have a slide thing. And I was like, I don't know, but I was looking at my Zoom. So I was like, I can see the meeting ID, but I didn't want to like scroll all the way to the top. But this is week 4 of 4. And I think it was Barbara who asked, like, there's not a call next week. Like in terms of the incentives I'm doing, like those cash bonuses for someone, you know, that had created 2 new consultants or those that create a consultant, that will go through Sunday. This was just the last training call, but then the actual Crystal Manager date is not until the 22nd. So you guys still have time. I just was trying to create some urgency and like getting, you know, a little bit of speed ahead of that. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, if I didn't do it, it's not going to happen. I mean, you have time. We were just doing additional cash bonuses for those of you that went fast. Does that make sense? So that being said, tonight I am going to go through my 5 steps to create consultants, and I'm going to use the slides that I did a while ago for a Super Saturday. And Rebecca Cafiero, I don't know if you guys know her, she's in the Bay Area. She had me on a team call going through this, so that's actually going to just be the homework. I'm going to send in that recording because it's a little bit slower and a little bit longer, just for some reinforcement if you want to hear it again, or you'll probably hear that I said something different 2 years ago than, you know, kind of what I'm going to say tonight. But I am going to share the screen with you guys, and in theory, hold on. Can you guys see that? Is that sharing the right screen, the how I create consultants 5 steps? Okay, perfect. So here's the 5 things that I do, and then I'm going to go through each one of these. Now, when I tell you that this is what works for me, this is not like this is the only way to create consultants, right? And if you don't do it this way, you're never going to be able to create consultants. Like that is in no way what I'm trying to say. However, I have been very successful at creating consultants since I first joined Isagenix. That success leaves clues, right? And so things that I saw other people doing or things that I've learned from events and podcasts. One time, corporate asked me, like, could you systemize that? Like, we asked you to train on it, like, and this was for Super Saturday. Could you teach what you're doing to make it duplicative? And that's where this kind of came up for. So this is my 5-step process. And I also just want to tell you that in no way does it mean these 5 go in order. It's just these are the things that I feel like I consistently do, which is why I'm able to get people to share and why I'm able to get my people paid and help them find their first 2. So in no particular order necessarily, except for the first one, I always do these, but I'm going to go through each one at length. The first one is after I enroll, I ask for accountability partners, and always do you share, they share. We talked about that at week 1. I talk about how this is a show me business. And when I say I'm talking about that, like to you guys, right? Like you can't just tell people how to do things. You actually have to walk them through it. We're going to go into depth a little bit more. The third part is like incentives, in the way that I take some of my money and put it back into the team to really try to rank advance some people and to really incentivize them, again, with speed. Number 4 is like to order smarter, not harder. That was last week's call. And then number 5, which is to comb your tree and show people the volume that they're sitting on. And I have a picture of a slide because I wanted to be able to actually show you what that looked like. So when we talk about asking for accountability partners, I'm not going to do a ton of this, but just to kind of circle back to you, what we talked about on week 1. And asking for accountability partners, because a lot of times your product users are like, I don't want to sell anything, right? They immediately go into that, like, I don't want to be rejected. I need to experience the products first. I can't recommend this until I've tried it myself. And it's just really important to always keep this in a framework of, hey, there's a brand new movie out. Like, would you go see that movie alone? And then once you decided if it was good or bad, like not have people go because it was bad, or then be like, oh, it was actually really good. Like you should come. You know what I mean? Like, I think that we go try new restaurants together. We try new movies together. We go try new vacation spots together. And Isagenix is the same thing. And so instead of referencing it always on like, hey, like I'm building a team and I'm looking for business builders and I'm looking for people that want to sell Isagenix, which has its own place and purpose, that sometimes when you get someone started, just saying, we know that you're going to have a more accelerated experience. You're going to have a higher retention rate. with 2 accountability partners, who are 2 people that you've ever done a cleanse with before, who are 2 people you work out with, or who are 2 people that you know have other health goals that you think would want to be a part of this with you in doing that. So always, always, always asking for accountability partners, and then showing everybody you share, they share, like every single person. And I think sometimes we start to filter, like, who do we actually want to show you share, they share to? Like, who maybe expressed they couldn't get their products paid for, or who maybe you think needs extra money, or who maybe you think is influential, where we have no idea who needs the money, right? We have no idea who wants to help other people. And I always think of like me and Rach, because we started this at the same time. And we were so motivated by totally different things. Like, where I was 1000% motivated by the money. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to put as many people as I can on Isagenix because I'm broke, right? Like, Rachel was so motivated that she was finally in a role that she had impact, that it was fulfilling for her. Like, she was so burnt out in her job that it was really exciting to be a part of something she was passionate about. But we were motivated by 2 totally different things. And so when I first draw out you share, they share to Rachel, she didn't see the same $900, the same $1,000 I saw. Rachel saw 2 more people benefiting from the products the way that she benefited from the products, right? And then she saw that ripple effect and understood that this word of mouth was going to be the fastest way to change lives, you know? So I think that it's not up to us to decide who needs to lose weight, who needs more energy, who needs more money, who doesn't need more money, but literally every single person. And I would encourage you, if you've never done it with some of the people you've enrolled, go back to them and say, hey, I'm sorry, but there was something I should have showed you that I forgot to do. Do you have a piece of paper and pen? I'm obligated to show you how to get your product paid for. I'm obligated to show you how you can pay this forward to other people, right? And from here on out, make a pact with every single person that you enroll to, at the very end, like chocolate or vanilla, you know, like powder or liquid. Do you want peanut butter or mint? Whatever it is, to say, hey, who are the 2 people that you want to get your products paid for, right? Or say, hey, I want to show you something quick. Whether or not you ever decide to do this, I need to at least map it out for you. I educate, you decide, I support whatever that decision is. Like, literally every single person I show you share, they share. And if they're like, cool, I don't really care, I want to pay full price, no worries, but I don't have to worry about it, right? But there are some people, if you just say, hey, there's a way that you can get your products paid for, guess what they're not going to do? They're not going to post on Facebook. They're not going to fear the rejection. They're not going to go through all this stuff if they think they might get 25 bucks back. They might get $50 in store credit. When you map out, you share, they share, and they see $1,000 cash, people are a lot more motivated all of a sudden to put up a Facebook post, right? They see the skin, or they see like the power of you have skin in the game. So just commit to either going back to people you've not done it, or with every single person, right? So that's the beginning part. Now, when we talk about a show me biz, not a tell me biz, here's what I mean by that. As a personal trainer, if I, had a brand new client, let's say Kathy never works out, right? And she's like not at all familiar with the weight room. And I just give her like a piece of paper and it says like leg press, 15 times, 4 reps, single leg Romanian deadlift 20 times, 3 sets. And she's like, what? You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea. I don't know what a Romanian deadlift. She could be walking around in circles for 2 days looking for a Romanian deadlift machine that doesn't exist. And what happens is we do this with our team. So we forget how much we've learned and everything that we've been exposed to from team calls or being around a mentor or going to an event. And you say things like, hey, it's Sunday night, you should put up a power post. And someone's like, yeah, what's a power post? And then they feel foolish and they think I should know what that is. And people feel insecure and, not worthy enough to ask a question like, hey, can you tell me what a power post is? That we have to literally hold someone's hand and walk them through taking up the training wheels until they can ride the bike by themselves. And so one of the things I love to do is use from Zach and Eden, oureasytraining.com. And it talks about like how to put an initial power post up. I send them that link and then I give them the verbiage, or I'll ask them like, hey, would you be willing to announce kind of what you're doing and asking for accountability partners? Like, it would be so fun for us to kind of share what inspired you, what you're looking forward to achieving, and inviting people to come along with you, and people are like, oh my gosh, that'd be awesome. I'm like, do you want to send it to me first before you put it up? We can go through and make sure that it's good. We can make sure that we don't want to tweak it. It doesn't feel salesy. You feel confident about it. It can help you with a cool picture or whatever that may be. It's working with them, sending them examples of things that we have found to be really, really successful. Like I text people screenshots that I've taken of people's initial posts and being like, if you can do something like this in your verbiage, you're going to get your products paid for right away. You know, like really walking them through that. And the same thing as with launch parties. So you have teammates that are excited, right? These are the same people that in the past have probably hosted a jewelry party for a friend. They've probably hosted a Pampered Chef party for a friend. And they would host a tasting party for you, but they don't know what to do, right? And so I get really excited sometimes when someone's having an amazing transformation. Like if Kari lived in my town, right? And assuming she was just using the products, I would be like, hey, you're a walking billboard. Like I know that you feel amazing and I know people have noticed what you're doing. Do you think you'd be up for inviting some of your friends over, right? I'll come over, I'll do the presentation, I'll bring the snacks, but just inviting them to take a look at what you're doing, because not only would that help you get next month's products paid for, imagine if so many of your friends and family could get the same results as you. I'll support you through it, right? You can see what I do, and then maybe down the road, you'll want to do your own. Or I have new people come to my events. Like if I just got Barber started, I would say, hey, I'm doing a tasting party next week. You should come and watch and see what I do so that you feel equipped to then do one on your own with your friends and family. So just remember that when you're working with your team, to show them what to do, right? You don't want to be a dictator just saying, put up a power post, right? Reach out to 5 of your friends. They don't know what to say. Use the script from Say, Share, Do on isagenixbusiness.com. Here's some scripts that we found to be really successful. Here's some verbiage that we have found is really successful when you're inviting people to take a look, right? So when we talked about connecting not too long ago and that whole ATM, right? And the compliment and you're in a hurry and state your purpose, teach them how to do this. So if I have a brand new girl, I'm like, oh yeah, when you have someone excited, just set up an ATM with me. They have no clue what that is. Absolutely no clue. And we forget about that. But if you take a few minutes and say, hey, there's a system our team uses called ATM. It stands for Add Tag Message. Well, if you have someone interested, because I know you're new, feel comfortable to add them to preview, tag them in a group message, and then tag them in a post and start a group message. You'll see what we do. And then they're going to watch how you send a video, how you set up a 3-way call, how you overcome objections, everything you share. But this goes back to like, don't tell someone just to do it because they don't know what it looks like. You have to show them. So the third thing that I do is I create contests. So my new enrollment, my new consultant, Deb, if you guys saw, that she went consultant, this is someone that this worked for. I messaged her and I said, hey, when you convert to a consultant an associate from a customer, you have 30 days to find 2 people, and Isagenix is going to give you $100. Plus, based on the packs that they come in with, you're going to earn an additional $100 to $400. So if it was 30 days, right, the $25 PIB on a 30-day would go to 50 on both of those. That's the 100 plus the $100 consultant bonus. The minimum is 200, right? Then on the high end, if they both were value packs, the $100 in the value pack would go to 200. For both of them, 400 plus her crystal consultant bonus, finding her second person within 30 days, that's $500, right? Like that's a lot of money. And if you talk about it and you break it down with how much money, people are going to move. But I said, I'm going for a time sensitive bonus, right? Like I was using some of my new enrollments to hit Crystal Manager. I said, I'm going to it for a time sensitive bonus. And you finding your 2 really helps me that I'm going to match what the company does. Right? So every time you create a consultant, one of your people finds 2, you earn $100 up until the first 40 times you do it. So I'm willing to give that away right now with this reset. So I said, if you do that within the first week, I will match it. Exactly what Isagenix is giving you. They're going to give you 100. I will give you 100. If you do it within the next 30 days, I'll give you half of it. I'll match you 50. So my second consultant that you guys recently maybe saw in the page is Andrea. That's exactly what happened. She started working on it, right? It didn't happen the first week, but the second week, so I gave her 50. She didn't get the full amount, but I still gave her a little nudge. Sometimes when I do contests, you guys have seen me say like, hey, the top enroller gets a Lululemon bag. So if I threw that out right now to all of you ladies, hey, and gentlemen, you know, there's the first person to get 3 enrollments earns a $100 gift certificate to Lululemon, right? Assuming that was out there. Now, the likelihood all of you is going to enroll 3 people this week is slim to none. But think about how many customers could suddenly find their first 1 or their first 2 because they're working for something else that incentivizes them. So you have to remember that this business is not about just building wide. Like, you don't want to just enroll 20, 30 people. You want to build deep, right? You want those people to grab their 2 and those 2 to grab their 2 and those 2 to grab their 2. And one of the ways to do that is to really motivate your team. So it's similar with this contest. So like Jenny Thompson has gotten a check from me, right? Laura Lori got a check from me, like, of things they're doing. Kathy Rowland is getting one this week, right? Of like the income producing activities that you're doing with creating consultants, right? You're getting your drawings into the hat for the ISA Academy ticket, you know, and me putting additional things out there is what I'm talking about. So every time I enroll a group of new people, I open up a thread. I usually call it the Eat for Free program. Sometimes I'll call it the Crystal Consultant Contest. And I'll drop a bunch of people in there. And I'll say, and I've sent this verbiage to you guys. If you want, I'll send it again. But I say something like, hey, you know, as you know, Isagenix rewards you for getting your products paid for. If this is not for you and you just want to work on your transformation, no worries at all, remove yourself from the thread. However, if you're interested in finding a couple people to do this with you, and I break down the bonuses that Isagenix is going to give them, the PIBs or double PIBs and the consultant bonus, and I say, here's what I'm willing to do, and I always put it in a time frame. Right? And then as they start to come in, I celebrate them. So in that thread, I was like, Debbie has one, Andrea has one, Brandy has one, right? Like, I start to motivate them and work them together, and other people start to get really inspired. So this is the third of my 4th step that I do. Just order smarter, not harder. I'm not going to go into depth about this because this was last week's entire call, but just remember that this is you dividing up orders. So I'm doing this right now, okay? I'm going up to New York City to do an event in 2 weeks. And Chris, the new guy on my team, he's enrolled 1 person, right? And he is 1 away from hitting consultant. And he's like, hey, I'm going to order a whole lot of product so we have it for the event. Like, what do you think is the best things I should do? And I said, hey, before you do that, is there anybody else in your household that we could enroll, like have the shipping and billing to you, but so that you hit the consultant bonus, right? I want you to get promoted. Like, he's going to order it anyways. His account is active at 100 BV. So whether he orders it up and he ends up at 358 BV, or he enrolls someone and runs that product through him, right? Like, it's in his house. They're all using it together. Sometimes you can do that with a family member, or, you know, husbands and wives, you divide the order up amongst them. So that was that piece. And the last thing here, and this is that combing the tree. You guys, I spend time every single week digging through the tree, looking for situations like this. Now, I'm not going to tell you who this is. It's irrelevant. But what this is somebody who is converted to an associate. They're benefiting from team volume, okay? And they've never like gone inactive. So they're ordering 100 BV every month. Let's say, hypothetically, at one point, maybe a few months ago, they had enrolled someone on their left leg, okay? And their team is on the right leg, and they order 100 BV. They never, ever, ever hit consultant because they had enrolled 1 person on their left, but they never found the person on the right. Let's say that person on the left then started telling people, and they started telling people, and they started telling people. So all that volume is rolling up, okay? Then they're on the team leg. So since they got enrolled, everybody else has been enrolled since or shared with them since. All that volume is rolling up. Plus the personal holding volume here, because they've ordered their 100 BV every single month, which defaults to the weak leg. Then you see how many times does 600 go into that? How many times does 300 go into that? That's the number of cycles, and you times that by 54, the value of the cycle. I message people and tell them, hey, this means nothing to you right now, but you're sitting on blah, blah, blah dollars. I would love to show you how to turn the points into dollars. Do you have a few minutes to hop on the phone with me? So I'm constantly digging through, looking for people. And the reason that they're at 0 cycles is because they are not paid as consultants. They're not going through this volume. But as soon as they either get their second person, if they only have 1, or they find someone on the right and someone on the left, 2 people, they will cash out on all of this volume. And this is why it's so important to order 100 BV every 30 days. Like, this is why we always talk about never going inactive and keeping your people active, because you just never know. And so sometimes you'll see that maybe they have personal holding volume and they have a bunch of team volume, but nothing on the other side, which is okay, right? Even getting them to consultant, that gets that going right away. But this is someone who probably enrolled one person or two people or something on the inside leg, but stopped and never hit consultant or fell out of it. But things kept growing afterwards because there was someone else doing something, right? And then they have the team volume that this person is sitting on a lot of money. Do you guys get that? Like when you see, like, if you do this, here, I'll tell you exactly what it is. So I'm going to add the personal volume always defaults to the weak leg. So when you look at this, it's going to flip on you. The 7,000 is less than the 8,000. So this is where the 2371 is going to go to. So 7,102 plus 2,371. That's 9,473, right? How many times does 600 go into that? Because for a cycle, you need 600 on one side, 300 on the other. Divided by 600, that's 15 cycles on that side. Let me see what happens on the other one. Remember, it has to be equal. So 8,179 divided by 300 is 27 cycles, but we have to choose the 15, right? Like you have to go with that side. So back to the 15 cycles times $54. This person's on $810. Like that's significant. Like, do you know how fun it is to be able to tell someone and be like, hey, this means nothing to you, but you're sitting on $810. If anyone in your family could benefit from it, hop on the phone with me for a few minutes. I want to show you how to turn these points into dollars. Like people will get on the phone with you so fast because they don't understand it. But you've got to spend time understanding this and what I just went through so quickly that you can reach out to people and tell them. So like Danielle has a huge organization and I sent her screenshots of this, of people in her team and said, hey, reach out to these people, you know, and that's something as leaders, of me and Kisa and Laura and the executives start to do and teach you how to do it, but then you pay that forward, right? Like then you guys start digging through your tree and seeing who's sitting on volume. And you can literally go bottom left and start clicking on people, bottom right and just start clicking on people. There's no report that will show you this, but I'm just clicking on the boxes, right? And I always scroll up to the top to the cycle summary and I'll be like, holy crap, Ashley's sitting on 31 cycles, you know, or something like that. Not really, she's sitting across from me, but like that's what happened with Anushka's husband. If you guys saw that, we promoted him to 2-star Silver Circle because he was sitting on all that volume. We're like, Anushka, your next 2 enrollments, put underneath your husband, like cash that out. You know, like we'll teach you how to do this, but you've got to be able to kind of find the volume. You've got to be able to see where it is and be able to get people excited about it. So just to kind of recap, and I'm going to stop the screen share, you know, in somewhat of an order, like, of course, I'm going to ask for the accountability partners before, you know, I give an incentive probably to get people paid. However, there are some people that I comb the tree that are not even my personally enrolled, that all of a sudden I'm like, hey, you may know me from the Facebook group, but I want to show you the volume we're sitting on. And I never did you share, they share with them because I didn't enroll them. So this is what I mean, that like, this is not in any indicative order, but if you're going through your checks and balances on how can I get my people paid? What are some systems? What are some things I can do? Here's some steps that I'm sharing with you. So I personally feel like as much time as you spend posting on Facebook, reaching out, following up, and enrolling people, right? We always are bringing new blood into the tree. You need to spend equal amount of time of getting those people paid, right? So even when they tell you they don't want to sell, even when they tell you they don't want to build the business, get creative. Jim Coover said that like if people made $1, like $1 with the company, how much that like astronomically changes the retention, right? And like what that does to people's basket orders. So even if they say they don't want to sell, are you okay to ask for some accountability partners, right? Are you saying, hey, I love to pay this forward. You know, if I were to help you create a Facebook post that's not salesy at all, it's just so inspirational because other people suffer in silence. And I think your story could really inspire some other people. Would you be willing to do that? Like, it's so brave of you and it's so courageous of you. But imagine those people that someday can say, because of Barbara's post, right? Because of Kathy's post, because of Ashley's post, because of Casey's post, XYZ happened. Get people to come from a place of empowerment. Learn what motivates your team. Some people are motivated by money, some people are not. Sometimes people are motivated by quality time or gifts, right? Like doing those extra contests. When we talk about like ordering smarter, not harder, anything over 100 BV, divide that order up. Find out their kid in the house, their grandma in the house, their spouse, a neighbor. I mean, do something where they can really divide that order up and get some of their products paid for, even if it's not full double pibs, right? Something. and then comb your tree. Like really spend some time, just even if it's once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, going through and seeing who's sitting on volume. Because that is a freaking fun paycheck when people get sometimes, and they've like fallen out of consultant and then they get back, and because they've always been active, they can cycle 30 times at a time, 40 times at a time. We have so many 2-star, 3-star, silver circles on our team, people that never hit executive, but because they never went inactive, when they cashed out on that volume, all those points turned to dollars. So you guys, I am going to make sure you get this recording out tonight, pass it on to anybody else, you know, that you really think could benefit from it. I will also pass on the recorded call. It's similar to this, going through the 5 steps that I did with Rebecca Cafiero. That's the only homework, and not to be redundant, but I do think that repetition is the master of all skill. And, you know, you just got to hear it and see it more than once to really be able to kind of get it and go with it. So I'm so proud of you. And I would just want to end with, like, if you don't hit Crystal Manager, don't beat yourself up in this time frame. Just keep going. You know, like Kisa's one of my favorite stories, that she missed manager, she missed director, like her first go around, and then she hit executive, you know? And so it doesn't always mean you have to hit every single one to get there, but just keep your eye on the focus and the eye on the prize, that as much as you're bringing new people in, be obsessed with getting them paid. Just be obsessed no matter what you have to do. And I always say I care more about getting someone the result and what they think about me. Like, I will push them, you know. And every coach, if you ever look back, like every coach in your life was not there to be your friend, right? Your coach was to leave you better than they found you. And that's how we are as leaders and mentors in Isagenix. So be willing to get a little uncomfortable to leave someone better. Be a little bit uncomfortable to get them to post, to get them to share, because when they get paid and they can order more products, you will be the first person that they thank, even if it's a little uncomfortable. So keep the thread going, you know, until the Crystal Manager deadline. And I'll send over that recording. Hopefully you guys can hop on our team call here in like 2 minutes. Abby O'Neill is amazing. You guys will love her. Okay, bye guys. Good night.